Hi folks, it's Chris Slogar from BuckeyeInklings.com, and I am rehashing a project that we did on Facebook Live so that I can get it on my YouTube channel. This is for this meandering card technique, okay? So I learned this on our Elastic cruise from demonstrator Krista Thomas, who was demonstrating this. And if you want to see some more samples and also have a link to the one she made on our cruise, it will be on my website, BuckeyeInklings.com, on September 27th post, okay? So she made it. She didn't have the benefit of holiday paper yet. I've made a couple of different versions in holiday paper, and the one we're going to make tonight uses this month's promotional paper, Dashing Along. And I've used the stamp set, Merry Christmas to All, for the greetings. There's so many great greetings, and then of course the thinlets that go with it. But the focus of this is this meandering pocket, okay? And you'll see why it's called meandering as we construct it. I've made it in two different sizes. So in this version, I've tucked it right into the straight fold of a card. In this version, I wanted to have something that would be that could accommodate some bulkier things. So if you open up this packet, this gift, I've got a tea bag in the pocket, a Ghirardelli chocolate, and a gift card. So two different ways to make this. We're going to go through both of these rather quickly without doing a lot of the decorations. But you'll see between the green pockets and the cherry cobbler pockets, this is a little bit wider, so I'll be showing you how to modify the size between the two as well. But let's just get started on the card and that meandering pocket. You need a piece of designer paper that measures 6 inches by 10 inches. And you're going to score in the long direction halfway. So in this case, that's 3 inches. But if you made a different size set of pockets, you just keep in mind that you're dividing the long dimension into 2 halves. And then across the 10-inch width, we're going into fourths. So we're scoring at 2.5, 5, and 7.5. Okay, and whether you're making it with a 10-inch piece or later we're going to use a 12-inch piece, you're scoring at quarter points. So then you're going to hold this with the side up that you would like to see in the card, and you're just going to cut along the score line from the bottom to the first, that halfway score point, that halfway score line. Okay, and we're doing that on that first vertical, but only the lower half. And then we're going to skip the second score line, and on the third, cut again along that score line from the bottom up to that midway horizontal score line. Okay, so then we're going to rotate it, and on the other side, we are going to cut the middle one. So the middle score line, we're cutting up halfway, similar to what we did in the others. Okay, so you end up with this, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to flip it back around the way we started, and this is the way I remember to fold it. But we're going to create a fold along this little maze pattern we've got going here of scores and cuts. Let me show you what I mean. Starting in the bottom left corner, we are going to fold that section up. And again, we are working with the side that we want to see up facing us. Okay, and I'm just kind of squaring that up and burnishing that. And then this next one, now this is important. Every time you move right on this, every time you fold right, you're folding to the underside. You're not going to fold over the top. You're going to fold to the underside, holding both of those sections, tuck them under the next section, and burnish that. And then fold down and burnish. And again, we're moving right, so we're going under. Okay? And then holding that whole pack every time it's getting thicker, we're going to fold that up now. And then we're folding under. And the last one is to fold down. Okay, and just kind of force these to square up as best possible. You know, your little cut lines may not be perfectly precise, but you can kind of force that as best possible. Okay, then you end up with this. You've got these, if you can imagine, are going to become the pockets where you see two pieces folded together. Those are going to be the pocket pieces. And then on the ends, you have two lone single pieces that don't have a mate folded up to them. Okay, so just kind of ignore those for the moment. And then what I've got here, I've punched some everyday label punch shapes, and I've scored them in half. So we're going to use these to close up the pockets. Instead of closing up the pockets by putting adhesive on the inside of the pocket, we're going to put these around the outside, and that way we're going to preserve as much width as possible in the pocket for whatever's going inside. So that could be, you know, like a gift card or note or picture or cash. Okay, so each one of these is going to enclose one of these edges to make a pocket. And I'm just sort of locating the label, like centering it along the pocket. And two are going to close up on the top edge, just based on the design. And the third will close up along the bottom edge. Okay, so there you have your pieces. Oh, let's give this a second to stick. And you have, you know, your two single pieces out to the edge. You're going to take 1-inch circle punch and just nip out, don't even go in halfway, but just nip out in the midpoint of this edge, a little like thumb hold notch. Just looks cute. Probably not that necessary, but it sure looks cute. All right, and then this is ready to adhere into your card base. So I have a regular 5.5 by 8.5 inch card base scored at 4 1/4, and I also have insert pieces. These are each 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So I've already stamped those. What I'm going to do, I'm going to place this. You can place it anywhere along the fold. In fact, you could place 2 of these in a fold if you wanted to have 6 pockets. But I'm going to place mine like in my sample where it's up high and it kind of covers the greeting that I have on my inner panel. So to do that, I'm going to fold this up so that the 3 pockets are in the inside and the single pieces are top and bottom. And you're seeing the side, the wrong side, whatever you've decided is the wrong side. And I'm going to put that in the fold, except I am going to force a fold on that card so that this whole assembly gets nudged over a bit, okay? Because you're not going to be able to fold the card if you've got this lodged all the way into the score line. Okay, and I'm just going to close the card front and adhere that. And then I'm going to turn it over and do the back side. Okay. So right there, that's the tricky part. That's it. I've got a couple of 1/2 inch strips here that I just think look cool because it's also coordinating. I'm going to put these along the edge of my inside of the card. And then I just have to put these insert pieces over the part of the pocket assembly that's, you know, meant to be covered up. So I just push that insert right into the fold and then just kind of try to square it all up and put it down. And then I've got this. Oh, there's so many great greetings in that. Merry Christmas to all set. This, I'm going to do the same thing on the inside of the front panel. And just try to get it squared up. Okay, so that's it. I'm not going to take the time to decorate the front. Okay, you see I've just got like a 4 by 5 1/4 piece of designer paper and some vellum and pieces cut from, got the sprig punch with some Wink of Stella and gold foil. You get the idea. You'll see a picture of this, and you can go to my website if you need a better still picture. What I'd like to do is spend time on this version. Okay, and remember I said this pocket's a little bigger. So while this one is 2.5 by 3 inches, the pocket in this case is a 3-inch square. All right, so I am going to start with a piece of designer paper on that one that measures 6 inches again by 12 inches. And on the short side, the 6-inch side, we're scoring in half, which again is 3 inches. And then along the 12-inch side, we're going to quarter points. So we're going at 3, 6, 9, and that gives us, again, this pattern of like 2 rows by 4 columns. Okay, so if you're getting the idea, you could kind of play around with the dimensions and make this bigger or smaller to whatever, you know, size you need. But I really like this size because my tea bag fit. Again, starting in that bottom left corner, I'm cutting from the bottom to the halfway score on the first and the third score lines. I'm going to rotate that around and do the middle one on the other side. Okay, and I'm putting that back in place so that the first cut line is down at the bottom left. And once again, fold up, and then every time you're going to the right, you're folding behind. You're taking the whole pack and folding it behind. Okay, and then down, and here we are again at the one where we're going behind. And then up, and then behind, and finally down. And each time, you could be a little more careful than I was on that one. Force it, you know, to be as true as possible. And again, you've got this. You've got your single pieces, and then you've got the 2 that should meet to be pockets. And this time I've just cut some different pieces of that designer paper with my everyday label punch. And I will close up these pockets with the labels. So cute because our paper, you know, is so well coordinated. So again, sandwiching the little pairs of you know, the folded pairs, and locating that label kind of like halfway along the length of the pocket. I think looks good. Oh, I think I wanted the white one down here. Oh, don't ask me why. Okay. And then the middle one is from the bottom. Okay, so I'm just going to hold those for a second. Make sure that's all pressed out. And there you have your little pocket piece. Again, we're going to nip out just a less than a half of a 1-inch circle on each of those. And then we're going to put them into a folder. This is a 9.5 by 3 1/4 piece of cherry cobbler, and I'm scoring at 3 5/8, 4, 7 5/8, and 8. Okay, and I'm going to round the corners with this triple corner punch. I don't know what it's called. On that top flap. And I already have some pieces of designer paper. I've got one that's 1 3/8 by 3 1/8, and it's rounded. And then I've got 3 1/8 by 3 1/2 to fit the outside of this folder. All right. And then when we go to insert our pocket piece, now I've got a little spine on this one because I want to put thicker things into this folder than I'm putting into my card. So like I've got the, did I show you the tea bag, the Ghirardelli, and a gift card. So what I'm going to do as I go to insert this, just going to make sure that bottom corner matches. If you see the spine, that bottom corner is going to match that bottom corner within the spine. So I'm going to put glue on it, maybe not all the way down to that corner, so that, not down to this edge, so that there's some room for this to stretch across the spine a bit, because it's not the same as putting it in a flat card. As you'll see, like I couldn't just glue down this side because I want to allow for some thickness. Okay, so I've got that in place, and what I'm going to do, I'll put the adhesive on this, and then I'll fold up, keeping the spine kind of around the outside. I don't want anything glued to the spine. I want that to be the thickness of all these folds to fall in that spine. So that finishes the pockets, and all I did on the outside, now this is the farmhouse ribbon, the burlap, the striped burlap. That's so cute. It's just a nice texture, and it has cherry cobbler in it. And then I have from the punch tin that's in the front of the holiday catalog, this super cute little merry and bright stamp. May your season be merry and bright. And I'm just gonna punch that out and put that on the front with a dimensional, and we're done. So super, super cute, adaptable, again, to so many patterns and themes. And as I showed you, even sizes. So I hope you'll try that. I hope you'll have fun with that. If you need any of the products, I could really use your business at buckeyeinklings.com. And there's a gift posted there if you use the hostess code. Currently, now you may be watching this later, but through the month of September 2018, it's the All Is Bright paper clips. So go on over to my site, buckeyeinklings.com, and thanks so much for joining me. Bye.